probably had a report that Dale Jarrett might have a slight miss in the engine of the Interstate battery Chevrolet.
Oh, and a spin. Jeff Gordon is spinning and hitting the wall hard up on near turn number 3.
And caution is out once again. Gordon keeps the car on the high side of the racetrack. Looks like everyone else will get by down on the inside. Too bad for the rookie. Had a great run going again here today. Good qualifying, starting in 4th position.
Jeff Gordon crashing here on lap number 10, and here's a replay of what happened. It was just as he approached turn number 3.
Kyle Petty was on the inside of him, Bob. It doesn't look like they touched, and then Hutch Strickland comes up,
Hutch Strickland was trying to get that spot, trying to take that spot away, and Jeff came down the racetrack, got bumped, and look at
Jeff Bodine.
Jeff Bodine and Hutch Strickland got together.
Yep. Bodine has a definite bump on the right front of the Motorcraft Ford. Don't
Hard contact on the left side of the car, and the safety crew now comes to Jeff, and he climbs out of the car under his own power.
Oh, you know that young man's frustrated.
Yeah, he was 10th in the Winston Cup point standings coming into this race.
It hasn't been a really great year for Jeff, although he has had some outstanding runs, but he's also experienced crashes at Darlington, North Wilkesboro, Bristol, Charlotte, Dover, and Pocono, and you can see the result of the Pocono crash. Let's update the situation regarding Dale Jarrett. Here's John.
Well, it's not really a miss. I talked to Jimmy Maycar just a few minutes ago. He says it's a hesitation as the car comes off of turn number 3. They think a float in the carburetor. And Bob, after coming down for a routine, what looked to be a routine tire change, we are being told now by Donnie Richardson that apparently Brett was hit in the right rear in that little incident up in turn 3, sheared off the valve stem, so they had to come down and change tires. And Brett has complained the car is dog walking, sort of wobbling down the straightaway. They think they may have bent a trailing arm beneath the right rear of the car. That's why they have brought him down pit road to try to check the right side of the car. That's where they have pulled a string right now, checking the alignment of the right rear tire and right front. And now Brett has to go back out to keep from losing a lap, so he puts it back in gear and pulls away.
And Jerry, it doesn't look like there's much sheet metal damage to the Quaker State Ford as he goes out, but probably what happened, another car hit the wheel. Didn't do much sheet metal damage, but hit that tire, and that's when you can really do some damage to the suspension of the car.
That is exactly what happened, Ned. The contact was totally on the wheel and tire. That's why it sheared off the valve stem. It didn't even hurt the car, and the crew was trying to figure out when he came down pit road. He said, I got hit in the right rear. They didn't see any damage, but it was actually on the wheel itself that pushed the rear end and possibly bent the trailing arm. They're going to try to bring Brett back in one more time in a moment before the green comes back out and look once again.
Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon's car is on a flatbed. Car damaged too badly to even put on a hook. Here is John Curtin with an update on Jeff.
Well, the crew is awaiting the arrival of the car. They don't really have any idea just how badly damaged it is. And just to indicate that, look at this trailer that they have pulled out. It's got just about everything you could use to rebuild a race car. You've got the rear end with the rotors. You've got a few of the rear axles in here. You've got a master cylinder. You've got some of the brake calipers. Just about everything that you could need to repair a race car. So these guys are prepared to try and fix this car and get it back out as soon as Jeff, who has gone to the Infield Care Center to be checked out, arrives here at the garage area.
Let's take a look at the accident once again, happening over on the north straightaway. Watch Hut Strickland come up and just barely tap Jeff in the left rear.
I think he was trying to fill the hole where Kyle Petty was, as Benny mentioned a moment ago, and Jeff came down wanting to get back on the inside groove and tapped him just a little bit and sent him right into the wall.
Hard contact, and Jeff is being checked over in the Infield Medical Center. However, he did get out of the car under his own power. And let's go to Jerry, who has an update on the 26 car. And John Kernan is with Jeff Gordon.
Well, they have just brought the car back here. The rear end is pushed over there. Got a lot of work to do. Jeff has come from the Infield Care Center. And Jeff, you're okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. DuPont Chevrolet, it was a little bit loose. I was just taking my time, trying to be very patient. You can easily get pushed back here. And I don't know what happened. All I know is they told me I was clear. I went down to go in the corner, and last car I saw behind me was a 27. I guess he got into me. I'm so mad right now because I can't even get into a race for 20 laps without getting in a wreck. So you know, we're just trying to be patient and run up front, and having problems doing it right now. But I mean, the guys are doing a good job. Cars are running great. Just got to stay on the tracks.
Jeff Gordon very disappointed today, but he is okay.
Beautiful day here at Pocono International Raceway for our live coverage. Tonight, however, the Formula One Grand Prix of Canada. Grand Prix's only visit to North America in 1993, and you'll see it at midnight here on ESPN as the battle between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost tightens up. Senna leads 42 points and Prost has 37. Damon Hill, Michael Andretti, and others tonight at midnight.
I read Michael Andretti said he was looking forward to coming back someplace that he's raced before in the Formula One cars. It'll be the first circuit he's went to. He's raced before.
Green flag comes out. We are back to racing. And up front is Trevor Boyes. How about that?
Yeah, James Hilton's car, the Rumpel Furniture car. See Terry Labonte there. He's 16 laps down, but he is still out there running. So is Ernie Irvin, who continues to have problems with the Kodak Coon Chevrolet.
Still trying to fix Jeff Gordon's car to get him back out there. You have missed no green flag racing whatsoever. In fact, the field is just now coming off corner number 3. You can see Doyle Ford giving them the keep it steady, guys. And now the green comes out. The accelerators go down, and we're back to racing.
One car missing in that group, Bob, is Darrell Walker in the Western Auto Chevrolet that pulled his car into the garage area with an engine problem.
And we see, is that Earnhardt going on the inside, the Goodrich Chevrolet, trying to get back to the front? They passed Jimmy Means down in the corner, Ned.
Caution's out. Hey, FYI, instead of a weakened or broken valve spring like the Algier, the engine builder, what he thinks it is right now is the node or the thing on the camshaft that drives the fuel pump may have sheared off a little bit.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my gosh, somebody did that on the dare. Good
No
grief.
way.
So
No
Wally
way.
is the cause of the caution, is that right?
Yeah,
Over the top, he's blown here.
Oh, yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Jerry, what's the story on that car?
And Brett Rodines of the car began to sputter. They pulled the car down pit road, Ned, pulled it behind the wall. Ernie Elliott, who's the engine builder, was checking and thought they may have broken a timing chain. They tell us they think it probably be, so they are through for the day. And a very disgusted Brett Rodines climbed out of the car, shook his head, and walked slowly toward the garage area.
Going into this race, the rookie points look like this. Jeff Gordon, 165, Bobby Labonte, 127, and Kenny Wallace, 126. They'll change because of the fact that Jeff Gordon crashed early. He is still out there, but certainly if things continue the way they are right now, Kenny and Bobby are both going to gain on him.
And Bobby Labonte just left the pits. He made another pit stop and is leaving the pits. He's going down the turn.
Now, the rookie points battle is based on each driver's best 15 finishes in relation to the other rookie drivers, and bonus points are also awarded for the top 10 finishes as well as standings in the Winston Cup points at various times during the year.
And there's also a panel at the end of the year that has some significant points awarded to the rookies. But I'll tell you what, and again, let me emphasize, they do have a sponsor this year for the rookie battle, and that's the Max Race Guard people. So I think it's about a $25,000.
It's a good prize.
As we watch Kyle Petty, Morgan Shepherd's car seemed to be losing the handle a little bit. The Raiders went by him, and a bunch of other cars have been by.
Well, you know, you see a lot of these guys come here in their multi-million-dollar haulers with all the conveniences of the shop carried with them. Here's how they transport the number 48 car that's owned by James Hilton and was driven today by Trevor Boyes, the old-fashioned way. However, recently there was something else that stole the headline.
Jersey on. But I got to mention, you know, Ron Polis, who was the #1 high school quarterback.
Bobby Hillen up there in that lead lap, and that's the end of the Melling Racing hopes today. Those folks that have won 7 races here at Michigan, not to win today. Here's the eldest son of Parnelli, P.J. Jones, having his car roll back out of competition.
Of course, those wins came with Bill Elliott at the wheel.
Well, when they were winning those races back then, you couldn't touch them at this place. They'd just kill you when you come up here.
They were tough, no doubt about it.
There you see Jeff Gordon in the 24 car in 6th. Schrader right there in 7th. Morgan Shepherd, number 21, in 8th. To the inside, Schrader.
This 24 and 25 are teammate cars owned by Rick Hendricks.
150 laps complete. Gets us down to just about 100 miles to go in this race. 150 complete. There's Jeff Gordon on pit road.
He had taken the lead. He's the last of the front-running cars to make a pit stop. He should be able to go without any problem from here to the end.
That would put Rudd into first place as Gordon has pitted.
Chevrolets are up front with Ricky Rudd in the lead, and Jeff Gordon is second, and Gordon went he went a lap longer than anybody else before they made the last pit stop. Ernie Irvin is third, Dale Jarrett fourth, and Rusty Wallace fifth. Let's go back to the pits and David Hall.
I got Jimmy Johnson here, who's the overall crew man for Hendrick Racing. Is Ricky Rudd going to have to stop?
No, he's not going to have to stop. He knows Jeff will have to stop. We think we can go all the way.
Oh, talking Jeff Gordon too?
Yeah, Jeff can go all the way. We're real close, but we think they can go all the way.
You think they can go all the way, or you know they can go all the way?
You never know they can go all the way. We think we can, though. We're going to sure try.
Okay, there we go.
A 3-second interval separates Ricky Rudd from 21-year-old Jeff Gordon as we get down to the end of this one. There's the interval. You see it in the backstretch between the 5, and here comes the 24.
And he's gaining. Jeff Gordon is definitely gaining on Ricky Rudd. Now, Rudd might have backed off a little bit to conserve fuel, but Gordon has his foot to the floorboard and is picking up, sniffing, sensing maybe his first victory.
Ricky Rudd. And Joe Grimm watching and across the line. The checkers are out, and Ricky Rudd has pulled it off. The Rick Hendrick Racing Stable wins its 33rd Winston Cup event, and they also take second place with the youngster Jeff Gordon. What an amazing turnaround in the final moments of this one.
Coming to the line right here's Morgan Shepherd in the 6 car side by side.
Give that one to.
Rusty Wallace ran very strong here in Daytona in February as well, and was strong at Talladega, but the guy had 2 big crashes in both of those places. You got to wonder how he feels going into this race today. Do we have some sleepers in this field?
We have definitely got some sleepers. No, guys, not that kind of sleeping. Look at Jeff Gordon, Musgrave, Spencer Math. Hey, guys, wake up! It's time to go racing, and then maybe we're going to find a winner out of this sleepers today.
Well, neither of these drivers have ever won a NASCAR Winston Cup race, and today just might be the day. But there's one guy who fits in the streaker category, and Jerry Punch will talk about him. Now, Jerry's not in the normal form that we think of streakers, right?
No, it's not, Ned. This one's going to wear clothing, although it might be a little cooler if he did, because the temperature is expected to approach 145 degrees in the race car. The streaker we're talking about, Modesto, California's Ernie Irvin.
Well, Jerry, as you look at Ken Schrader's qualifying speeds, on Thursday, almost 5.5 miles an hour faster than he was during second round qualifying on Friday. Now, on Thursday, in post-qualifying inspection, NASCAR found an illegal carburetor setup on Schrader's car. As a result, he has been suspended. His car owner, Papa Joe Hendrick, has been suspended for 4 races. It is under appeal. It will be heard next Tuesday, so Schrader will race today. Now, basically, what the setup did, it created an air leak around the 4 stud holes on the restrictor plate. What that did was allow a little more air to get into the intake manifold, hopefully to build just a little more horsepower. Now, the key here is the sneakers may not be on the race team. From Ken Schrader on down, they say they had no idea about the setup. Now, they get their engines from an outside source, so Bob will just have to wait and see. The appeal will be heard on Tuesday. We'll have more on that process later in the race.
Lap completed. Let's see if we can take a look. It's the white car. There you see, they look like they're trying to go 3 abreast. Hensley down on the inside, and it looked like the car just broke loose with him, didn't it? Maybe the air was taken off the spoiler?
I really don't know. Jeff Gordon just barely misses Hensley as he goes by. And look at these other cars down on the apron of the racetrack.
Watch the middle of your screen. The white car gets down low on the track and loses it.
Just goes around, and I guess that's Wally Dallenbach and Greg Sachs right behind him. But watch Jeff Gordon as the car goes back up the racetrack. Look at Jeff Gordon. They're almost meeting head on. Look how close it was. Getting in the side of that Family Channel Ford.
Jeff has been involved in a couple of crashes this year in that manner, and I'm sure he was thinking, oh boy, here we go again, but he missed. There is the young Rookie of the Year candidate who is leading rookie points at the halfway point of the season. Now pit stops occurred, and here is the main benefactor from all that. He came in 16th position, and he comes out in 2nd. That, of course, is Jeff Gordon. It has been an up and down season for Jeff Gordon, but on the super speedways, he has been sharp. 9 starts, 4 top 5 finishes. He led in 5 races, and he finished in 2nd position both at Charlotte and at Michigan, and had a very, very good performance here in February.
Tell you what, this young man is learning a great deal, especially in the position he's been racing up front, learning from the best there is in the business.
Where's the sneaker in all this?
I don't think he's far behind.
There he is. He's between Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd now.
Well, we label him as the sneaker, but we're not certainly accusing anybody of anything. That appeal will be heard on Tuesday in Daytona Beach, so we will cast no aspersions. Jerry?
Actually, there's a 21-member panel called the National Stock Car Racing Commission, made up of track promoters, former NASCAR, and even some former USAC officials. 3 members of that 21-member panel will be appointed to hear that appeal on Tuesday. Now, they can decide. They can totally do away with the penalty. They can overturn it. They can even triple the penalty if they wanted to. If the decision there isn't to the satisfaction of Ken Schrader and Mr. Hendrick, and they can appeal it to the National Commissioner, who is Simon E. Bucky Knudsen, who has the final say-so.
Now he's up on the high side of Jeff Gordon, trying to take away another position.
There's all 3 of Rick Hendrick's cars side by side, so Jeff Gordon and Schrader better drive carefully because they could wipe out the fleet.
Now, Ricky Rudd has already announced that he will not be back with the Hendrick team next year. He'll form his own. Terry Labonte will be driving for Rick Hendrick next year.
Driving the Kellogg's Cornflakes car right now. Currently will be driving the Rick Hendrick car. Now, it will not be the Tide car next year because Tide is going with Ricky Rudd. So the sponsor is yet to be named on Hendrick's 3rd team. Now, Bill Walker pulled down right in front of Musgrave, so that ought to help Tibbs. He tries to get through these. This is from inside. Rick Wilson must have got out of shape up there, and man, we almost had a crash.
We really did. Jeff had to Gordon had to really climb on the brakes, and then make a hard left to get around Rick.
Now, folks, we ooh and ah and what have you. I mean, these guys run 190 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, boom, they stop in front of you. You know what it's like when they stop in front of you 20 miles an hour.
Here it is again. Now, watch Wilson.
We got the corner, got a little bit loose. Had to get off the gas, and Jeff Gordon, if he didn't hit him, I think that's my finger between those 2 cars.
That's a second near miss for Jeff today. He was almost involved in that first lap crash we had with Jimmy Hensley. Next time by, they'll get the halfway mark. Cross flags indicating that half the race has been completed.
They're having a little bit of a problem getting the and Sterling is down and away. A 2-tire change.
And Earnhardt's changing 4 times. Meanwhile, Rudd is back on the racetrack. It's Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin, Ken Schrader. And the next car, Ernie Irvin, followed by Dale Earnhardt. Now we got a tire right in the middle of the track. Earnhardt just barely missing. This may bring out the caution flag. Would you go out and get that tire, Bob? No. I don't think so either. This could bring out the caution flag. So Darrell Walter, people like that.
Well, no, Darrell's coming down pit road right now. He and Morgan Shepard.
It's in the grass.
Bobby Hillen.
Yeah, I know it's in the track. It's in the grass. About 50 feet where these cars running 200 miles an hour.
Some
Some guy is going out now. Come on, man, get away from that tire down there.
Meanwhile, as we watch the action on the racetrack, we will tell you that it is a power steering problem on Davey Allison's car that they're working on.
Some guy, look, he is getting that tire.
NASCAR official, isn't it?
Yep. And so it's safely back behind the pit wall. 113 laps completed in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. And now the question is, will they make a pit stop? And probably not, huh, guys?
I wouldn't think so.
Some of them will.
Yep.
Elmo
Maybe not the
Langley.
leaders.
Elmo is driving the pace car. He's leading the field. He was in Fastmasters last week with Benny.
I passed Elmo last week.
Well,
You know, nobody ever gets to pass Elmo.
One of the few you passed last week, I'll tell you that, except the back end of your car when you spun. Now, there will be no Fastmasters tonight on Saturday Night Thunder, but there will be a Saturday Night Thunder, and they'll not be at Indianapolis Raceway Park this week. Instead, at the High Bank Winchester Indiana Speedway for the USAC Midgets. It's a 2-hour show tonight from 9 until 11 Eastern Time, 6 to 8 on the Pacific Coast. A couple of guys came in for pit stops, including Morgan Shepherd and Rick Mast and Brett Bodine.
While you catch your breath, let me ask you, Dale, that last restart as he leans over here and gets ready to get a big gulp of Gatorade. On the last restart, it looked like you backed off a little bit so the guys wouldn't be able to get a run at you.
Well, I was trying just to start where all of them would go together. Tough restart here. I hate to restart on these speedways, these are circuits.
Well, he is obviously exhausted here. He leans over. They're going to get some cool cloths to him. He's going to sit down and get something to drink, and they're going to put a cooler here where he can obviously get a seat here and catch his breath. But another victory for Dale Earnhardt, his second in the Pepsi 400. Bob?
And you'll never be able to convince me that race drivers are not athletes, because he has been through a lot here at Daytona today and obviously shows it.
And one driver we will see today is Ken Schrader, suspended by NASCAR for illegal carburetor parts during last week's qualifying. He won the appeal. Still got the fine, but Schrader and car owner Joe Hendrick are here, and Kenny will be in the race today. We'll be right back. Jeff Burton won last July here in a Busch Series event. Davey Allison, winner at Richmond in March, and Ernie Irvin, who won a last lap thriller at Talladega this May. The Daytona 500 champ Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd, who won at Michigan last month. In row 6, Jimmy Spencer. Riding with the hottest rookie on the tour, Jeff Gordon of the DuPont Chevrolet. First 3 cars, and Gordon has come back to the 2 Fords, where the race is coming to him.
Look how much smoother his hand is in the corner. He's got the car, he's got his rhythm in. He's going to make somebody work today.
There's Joe Nemechek. He's first one of the Winston Cup car, races he's ran. That car is not like one lease. That car is out of their shop.
Whoa, we got a pass for the lead here.
Sterling Marlin back to the front.
And Davey Allison just goes by Gordon John Cox. Boy, I'm in there, aren't I? I just went back about 50 years, folks.
We're not going out Saturday nights before the race anymore, Baker. Jeff Gordon in 4th spot, and 3 Fords in front of the first Chevrolet. Here comes Davey Allison.
You know, the Hendricks cars are running exceptionally well. We're looking at the 18 car. That has an engine from Hendricks in it. Ricky Rudd's running good. You've got Gordon up front. Their stuff is really working.
I got a feeling when Sterling Marlin wins his first race, he's liable to win 6 or 8 in a row. It's just something, you know, once you do it, you get the confidence, and then you can go and do it again.
Bill Elliott did it. He finished second 8 times before he won his first race, and then look where he went.
Boy, we had a call. The 24 car wanted to come into the pits. He slowed down to come in and got blocked out by another car, so it really cost him. Now he's going to come in this lap. Got to look at something.
Left side, yep.
Something's hung up in it. It's either hung in gear.
That's costly for Earnhardt. 36 seconds. Earnhardt is stopped in the pit. Here is Jeff Gordon. You're riding with him as he comes to pit road, watching that tack very carefully so he doesn't exceed the speed limit.
That's an eternity going down through there that slow. Look at Jeff Gordon. You know, he just has to be going. If I could just go a little faster.
Boy, he's reading that tachometer coming in and obeying that speed limit.
Left side lug nuts being loosened up as the right side tire change is completed. He'll come around, pop the left side in the air, yank those tires off, and put on 2 more.
Evernham and all that crew there have doing a super job. They've been flying on the pit stop several times in Daytona. They come in 6th, go out first.
Good effort, 20.7 seconds. And there's about a dozen cars 1 lap down, including Irvin and Earnhardt.
Yeah, right on the inside line, right there, the 55 car. Right on the inside, got a shot to get a lap back right up beside Davey Allison.
It's Ted Musgrave and the U.S. Air Jasper engines Ford, and we are back to green. Musgrave's going to try it. He's going to get it. Back on the lead lap now. Allison has to look left for Earnhardt. Finds him. Here comes Marlin for the lead. Look at all the momentum Davey Allison lost after that brush and slide with Earnhardt.
That's the quarterback here. That looks like a bulldog took a bite out of it.
Quarterback and smacked his quarter pound out. We didn't mess up the rear spoiler.
See if we can see it from inside Jeff Gordon's car, and Allison's car just gets sideways again. He hauls it back in, but he has lost quite a few positions from the lead. NASCAR officials issued a reprimand down to the pits of Earnhardt, telling car owner Richard Childress any more contact, they will deal with it. Let's have a look again at what happened as Allison, the race leader, Earnhardt on the inside, trying to get a lap back.
The 55 car took that inside line, 28 out there. Earnhardt goes in there and gets right up in the left rear of Allison. 8 also got him in the rear when it got him out of shape there.
Looked like the front end on Earnhardt's car might have broke loose a little bit there, Neil.
The other thing about the left side of these cars is you see how much clearance they leave between the tire and the fender. As opposed to a Daytona or Talladega car, you leave a lot of open space there for just that reason.
Yeah, with Daytona and Talladega, they look like airplanes. The fenders missed the tires by a 16th of an inch. Yeah, it seemed like once the race started, his car settled down. His car's been getting better and better as the day went on. And just like Buddy said, he's not snatching that wheel around as he did earlier.
Well, he's getting smooth, and this kid has such a great driving rhythm. When he gets into it, he is just like in Charlotte, Daytona twice. I mean, once he gets there, he don't give it up. He really drives that race car well all day.
Dale Jarrett's whole team's really jailed. I'm telling you, they're right in that points battle, and they're going to be tough to deal with.
One thing about Rick Hendricks, when he builds motors for other people, they're just as good as he motors in his own cars. And happy birthday, Rick. I know it's your birthday tomorrow.
Well, guys, you were talking about Jeff Gordon falling back a little bit. They took 1 round of fighting out of the car, as you said, Neil, was a little tight. Now they got another problem. Jeff just radioed in and said they're having problems with the brakes. The brakes are fading on the car, going away. So he's going to be dropping back a little bit. You get on the brakes real hard going into these corners, it's going to be hard to cool those things. Maybe he can just back off for a few laps and they'll come back, but that's a serious problem. Probably something he'll have to contend with the rest of the day.
We'll be back to New Hampshire after this. A word from Davey Allison about what this track might be similar to on the circuit.
Well, it's got a lot of similar characteristics to both places. Martinsville got long straightaways and tight corners. This place has long straightaways and tight corners. Phoenix is a 1 mile track and it's flat. This is a 1 mile track and it's flat. So there are a lot of similarities between the two. Who knows what's going to happen here this weekend. Maybe we'll get it figured out good enough to win the race, and maybe we won't, but it's going to be a lot of fun anyways.
I think Jeff Gordon's easy problem as far as the brakes is moved right up on the back of Dale Jarrett now, and his car seems to be working just a little bit better than it was before this caution.
Maybe he had a little bit of chance to cool that thing down. And a lot of these cars, sometimes the frontal area, they cover them up with duct tape thinking they might not need it. He might have had a little bit of that left they could do something with, but like you say, Buddy, he seemed to be better than he was just before the caution came.
Let's go to Jeff Gordon's pit. Here's Glenn.
This is Ray Evernham, and Ray, you told me earlier that he's got a brake problem. They've cooled off now, he's okay now, but the problem still remains.
Yeah, this track's a little harder on brakes than we thought. We brought the same amount of cooling that we normally run, but it looks like we needed to get more air to the front of it. So he could run a few laps hard, and we've had to calm it down. He's doing a good job, and we hate that it's happening, but we're going to have to try and finish this race best we can. So we're just going to have to let the brakes cool when they get hot.
That pretty much tells the story, guys. He's good right now, but when they heat up, he'll have to back off.
And there goes Mark Martin underneath Jeff Gordon to take the spot away.
Well, like we said, he looked a lot better, and he was for a few minutes, but
Ernie Irvin almost into the wall. You saw him there out the right windshield of Jeff Gordon's car. Excuse me, buddy. But he got way up in the marbles and almost to the fence. Bill Elliott takes on 4, and now Jeff Gordon will surrender the lead. Bring his DuPont Chevrolet to the pit lane. See Ricky Rudd going out. He passes by Bobby Labonte and will roll past Bill Elliott there on the left. Ooh, no, he won't. Elliott comes out. Gordon drops in. Ray Evernham and crew go to work.
Get an idea right here. We saw Rusty Wallace's pit stop a while ago. Get an idea what's happening here with this team.
This will leave Terry Labonte as the only driver on the lead lap yet to pit.
Now they took a full round out of the back of DuPont car there.
20.6 seconds.
About 3 seconds different than we had with Rusty Wallace.
Gordon Shepard is on pit road, and so is Kenny Bouchard. As green flag pit stops continue, we'll be right back.
Right at 160 miles an hour.
2 Hendrick cars battle for position.
There's 2 Hendricks cars, one with brake trouble, one without.
One without, with trouble is having trouble.
You know, there might not be too many fellows in this sport better at conserving their car than Ricky Rudd.
I think he's one of the best slick track drivers that we have on the whole circuit.
He's just moved past Jeff Gordon, and Rudd will move up into 6th place. Won at Michigan last month, 4 top 5 finishes this year.
2 car, he was up there earlier. Labonte was up there racing with Elliott. Now he's back there with Jimmy Hensley.
And here's your Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. We have caution on the racetrack.
I don't see anything, Mike. It might be debris or something. I don't see anything on the track.
30 laps to go, and it is a debris caution. NASCAR has observers stationed all the way around the racetrack to see if there is something on the track that could cause one of these drivers a safety problem, and there it is. What is it?
Might get in there tight enough we can tell what we got here, Mike. It's
tickets to next year's race.
It's a hub off of an axle. That's the hubcap that holds the axle in the rear end housing. It's got 4 little bitty Allen head bolts, and it's come out of somebody's rear end. You see the lines on that thing. That are lines that lines up the lug studs so they know where to put the wheel on. That's somebody's broken axle.
I'd definitely puncture a tire if you run over it. So they did the right thing there by throwing the caution.
Somebody's going to be wondering where their axle's at. That holds the axle in.
Yeah, when they go to hit the accelerator and only one wheel's turning, they're going to find out the hard way in a hurry. Wait till a pit crew member tries to put a tire on there.
We'll see it first. It'll start smoking pretty good, too.
So Davey Allison sees his lead go away as a piece falls off someone else's car.
You think they'll stop?
Yeah, I would. As much as new tires mean here, there are only, buddy, there's only 7 cars on the lead lap.
Well,
I would think you'd have to stop.
There's your answer right there.
I would say they will.
Nice of you to guess now, Mr. Bonnet. So Davey Allison leads Rusty Wallace down pit road, but everybody did not stop. Here's Mark Martin in, Dale Jarrett. Brett Bodine comes down pit road, and you see the 2 pit stops from among the leaders. Now, of the cars on the lead lap, here's Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Gordon also in. Rusty Wallace fast on pit road again, 17.1 seconds.
Boy, they continuously do that.
Davey Allison, 19.3.
What might have made that look a little more offside than it was, Rusty got in his pit first, and they started quicker, but still, you see Rusty going out first.
Jeff Gordon sitting here in 4th, run a good race all day.
Today, it's the 3rd largest city in the state of New Hampshire. Should have said not counting livestock, but some 75,000 people in this area. Here's a look at Jeff Gordon.
I think he's out of brakes now. He's fading.
Yep, while we were away, Ricky Rudd and Gordon got together a little bit as Rudd was trying to make the pass. He eventually did complete it. Shepard going underneath, not for position. Gordon stays on the lead lap, but he is now in 7th place, last car on the lead lap.
Neil, that's got to be the worst feeling in the world when you mash that brake pedal and it goes to the floor going in the corner like that.
A Ford has not won on a 1-mile racetrack since Phoenix last year, and a Ford has not won a NASCAR Winston Cup race on an oval track since Atlanta this spring.
There's Davey taking a look at that inside. Is Mark going to give him inside lane?
It'll be pretty tough to give it to him. He might take it, but he won't give it to him.
You see the nose of that 28 up under Mark. Back in, jumped out under Mark a little bit right there.
Tossed it and caught it. One to go. Last time around for Rusty Wallace, and this battle for second place.
Davey's going to swing out wide, try to cut the car back down to the bottom. There's Rusty coming off. He's checking out on him.
Here's second place. Davey's got one more shot here at turn 3 to take second place money.
He actually had a little bit better run on the white flag lap.
He did. Rusty's going to come off turn 4 to score his 26th career victory, tying him with Hall of Famer Fred Lorenzen. Mark Martin, by a car length, holds off Davey Allison for second. Fourth will go to Dale Jarrett, who will move to within 171 points of Dale Earnhardt, knocking 80 points out of Earnhardt's lead. 10th Super Speedway win for Rusty Wallace.
I just saw the guys running second, third pull up beside Rusty, congratulate him. They know what a struggle he's been in the last month or so with those wrecks and everything.
I tell you, he and Earnhardt keep this up, and Winston's going to kind of be slack next year.
So Rusty Wallace comes around to the red flag to the front straightaway. And let's see what happens. Yep. The Alan Kulwicki victory lap. Wallace said every time he won this season, he would honor his friend, a longtime competitor and defending Winston Cup champion, with a wrong way victory lap.
You had to be pretty glad to see that last caution, and it gave you a chance. Looked like you and Davey were pretty even up until that last caution.
Yeah, we really were, and Davey pitted before we did. He got a little track position on me with fresher tires. But that's a gamble we wanted to take. We didn't want to risk run out of gas or something. But we needed that last caution, and the guys, as usual, put a can of whoop you-know-what on them in the pit stop.
Did you ever have a feeling any time today that you wouldn't win the race?
Not really. I mean, a lot of things can happen. The last pit stop, obviously, I was a little concerned because we were second and Davey was pulling me. But we made a wedge adjustment right there at the end. We loosened the car up a little bit.
Rusty was driving his tail off. He was all over the place, and I was gaining just a little bit on him. I thought maybe I could put some pressure on him and get him to wobble out of the groove. But as I got closer, he got dug in, found him a good spot to run, and I couldn't do it. And then right at the end, I just had to fight for my position with Davey.
Rusty Wallace, the winner. Mark Martin finishing second in a Ford. Davey Allison's Ford is third. Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd in Chevrolets. That's the top 5. Then Sterling Marlin, Jeff Gordon, all on the lead lap. One lap down, Kyle Petty, Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Hensley, Jeff Bodine, and Brett Bodine. Then 2 laps back, Morgan Shepherd, Ernie Irvin, Rick Mast, Harry Gant, Jimmy Spencer. 3 laps down come Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Hillen, Kenny Wallace, Derek Cope, Mike Waltrip, and Ted Musgrave. Then 4 laps back, Hut Strickland with relief from Jeff Burton. Dale Earnhardt 4 laps down. 7 laps behind, Wally Dallenbach and Rick Wilson. Further back, Kenny Bouchard, Dave Marcus were running at the finish. Terry Labonte, Greg Sachs, Dick Trickle, Jimmy Speed, Lake Speed, all in the garage, Jimmy Means. Joe Nemechek and Jeff Burton had great starts and tough finishes today in their first Winston Cup starts. Ken Schrader, Phil Parsons, and Jerry O'Neill rounded out the 40-car field. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Davey standing here. Davey, great job today. You took a bite out there with prior to the last caution. It looked right. Rusty went back, did the same thing, and just a little better towards the end.
Well, our car was a little bit loose, and we put a half a round of bite in, and that really set the car up, for the end of the race. We didn't need that last caution, but, luck plays an important role in this game, and today was Rusty's lucky day, but we got to congratulate him because they ran a strong race to come from the back of the pack like they did to win it, and we had a good race. Had a lot of fun out there racing today. Texaco Havoline Race Team did a great job. It was fun to lead a race for a change, and especially fun to finish on the lead lap. But I'll tell you, Randy, I've had some orders from home. I talked to Krista last night on the phone, and she told me that if I don't tell her, hey, the next time on TV, I'm in trouble when I get back. So, hey, Krista, and Robbie and Liz.
Okay, so we got the family out of the way. Davey, did you learn anything here today? First time here, you didn't really have a chance to practice that much. I asked Mark the same question. Anything that you do differently coming back up here next time?
Well, as odd as this sounds, I may bring a different race car. we kind of gambled on something this weekend. It sort of worked out and it sort of didn't in some ways, but we think we know what to come back with. Just wait till next year and come back and try it again.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Good luck.
Thanks.
Mike Joy?
Yeah, I think he knows, and he's not telling. Craftsman Tools, when seconds count, there's no time for second best. The official tools of NASCAR present the Winston Cup point standings. Dale Earnhardt saw a big chunk of his 251-point lead go away. He leads Dale Jarrett now by 171 points. Rusty Wallace is now as far behind Earnhardt as Jarrett was coming into New Hampshire, 250 points. Morgan Shepherd is 4th, Davey Allison 5th, Kyle Petty 6th, Jeff Gordon 7th. Mark Martin moves up to 8th in the standings. Ken Schrader falls to 9th, and Ernie Irvin is 10th.
Well, Jeff Gordon did put on a show. I asked him if he was worn out. He said, no, I'm fine. But let me ask you if you're emotionally worn out, because you didn't have brakes there for a little, or at least for a good portion of that race. That must have been a little taxing on you.
Well, we can't be disappointed at all. I tell you, we had a good day. All in all, we come away with another top 10 and almost pulled off another top 5 there. But I tell you, Ray Evernham and this DuPont crew, they're doing an excellent job for me in the pits and adjusting on it and get me out as quick as they can. And we just keep, picking away like we are in these top 10s. And we're gonna get further and further up there in the points. But today we just started running out of brakes, and that was our main problem. The car was off just a little bit, but not as bad as you really thought we were. I mean, the brakes just hurt us more than anything.
Was the track like you thought it would be when you started this race at the finish? Was it like you thought it was going to be?
Well, I didn't think it was going to tear up as early as it did. A lot of people said I think it's still going to come up, but like the 5th lap it started coming up, and I was glad that I was up front because it was just going to be single file for a while, and that's a shame because this track's got a lot more potential than that. And you can do some side-by-side racing here. And I think all in all it was a good show, but the track basically, handling-wise, yes, it was about like I thought it was going to be. But then you had to slip and slide around the marbles, and I wasn't expecting that.
Okay, congratulations on a good run.
Thank you.
Can a rookie win the Winston Cup Championship? Sure, he's running for points just like the rest of them. For all of us at TNN that have been proud to be a part of this first Winston Cup race at New Hampshire, for Glenn Jarrett, Randy Pemberton, Ken Squire, Buddy Baker, and Neil Bonnet, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Rusty Wallace on his 5th season victory here at Bob Bear's Field of Dreams, New Hampshire International Speedway.
Just 2 weeks later, the weekend of August 21st.